In the year 2432, aboard the United Earth ship Kronos, the war room was a hub of strategic fervour. Lieutenant James Hawkeye Mercer, the newest recruit of the elite Hourglass Battalion, stood silently, observing the flurry of activity around him. Holographic displays dotted the room, each casting a soft glow on the tense faces of the soldiers. These displays showed star maps, battle tactics, and live feeds from various war fronts, a constant reminder of the interstellar war raging against the Krylaxians. Mercer, though a skilled sniper, felt the weight of inexperience amidst these battle-hardened veterans. The Hourglass Battalion, a group of mercenaries known for their extraordinary abilities and unconventional methods, was humanity's last hope. Leading them was Commander Zara Knox, a figure both revered and feared. Her presence commanded attention, her eyes scanning over the room with an intensity that could almost be felt. The mission was daunting: infiltrate the Krylaxian stronghold, a feat deemed near suicidal. Despite the grim odds, Knox exuded a confidence that was infectious. As she briefed the team, her voice was steady. "This isn't just another battle, it's a strike at the heart of the enemy. We succeed and we turn the tide of this war." As the meeting concluded, Knox's final words resonated through the room. "We're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for the future of humanity. Prepare to move out." Mercer, along with the others, began prepping for the mission. He meticulously checked his equipment, his thoughts a mix of adrenaline and apprehension. He then retreated to his quarters, a small, functional space where he lay on his bunk staring at the ceiling. Images of Earth, now a vulnerable oasis in the vastness of space, filled his mind. It was for that speck of blue and green that he was willing to risk everything. 2 hours later, the team gathered in the hangar. Before them stood a stealth shuttle, a masterpiece of engineering designed to evade the most sophisticated sensors. The air was thick with unspoken thoughts as they boarded. Knox was the last to enter, her gaze sweeping over her team. "We are humanity's voice in the void," she stated. "Let's make sure we're heard." The shuttle took off, slipping silently into the void of space. Mercer felt a familiar mix of fear and excitement as they approached Krylaxian territory. The mission had officially begun. Their destination was a moon orbiting a gas giant, the site of a vital Krylaxian energy facility. It was heavily fortified, surrounded by a dense asteroid field that acted as a natural barrier. The team's shuttle pilot, Lieutenant Ramos, navigated the treacherous field with an expert hand, his eyes fixed on the path ahead. They landed undetected in a crater near the facility, the shuttle's exterior blending seamlessly with the rocky landscape. The team disembarked, moving with the precision and silence of shadows. Mercer felt the reassuring weight of his rifle, a constant companion in these uncertain times. As they neared their target, a patrol of Krylaxian drones appeared, their mechanical forms gliding silently through the alien terrain. These drones, equipped with advanced sensors, were capable of detecting even the slightest disturbances. The team halted, each member assessing the threat. Knox signalled to Mercer. It was his time to shine. Lining up his shots with meticulous care, he took out the drones one by one, his rifle's silenced shots echoing softly in the barren landscape. With each fallen drone, the team inched closer to the facility. Upon reaching the outer perimeter, they were greeted by the sight of massive energy reactors, the heart of the Krylaxian war effort. The hum of power resonated through the air, a constant reminder of the task ahead. Knox surveyed the scene, her eyes calculating. "This is where the real fight begins," she whispered. Mercer nodded, his resolve hardened. They were the spearhead of humanity's defiance, a small team against a formidable foe. The team split into groups, each tasked with sabotaging different parts of the facility. Mercer, along with a small unit, was assigned to take out the main reactor's control center. They moved stealthily, avoiding patrols and navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the facility. As they reached the control center, they encountered a group of Krylaxian guards. A fierce firefight ensued, the sound of gunfire and energy weapons clashing violently. Mercer, taking cover behind a console, picked off the guards with precise shots. The firefight was intense but brief. The team secured the control center, quickly setting up explosives to cripple the reactor. Time was of the essence. They had to complete their objective and evacuate before the Krylaxians could mount a counterattack. With the explosives set, Knox gave the signal to retreat. The team retraced their steps, moving swiftly towards the rendezvous point. Mercer's heart pounded in his chest, adrenaline coursing through his veins. They were close to completing their mission, but the danger was far from over. As they neared the shuttle, an alarm blared through the facility. They had been discovered. A horde of Krylaxian soldiers swarmed towards them, their alien war cries filling the air. The team raced towards the shuttle, their escape path now a gauntlet of enemy fire. Mercer covered the retreat, firing at the oncoming soldiers. Each shot was a prayer, a desperate hope for survival. They reached the shuttle, the doors closing, just as the facility erupted in a massive explosion. The shuttle lifted off, escaping into the void just as Krylaxian reinforcements arrived. Knox looked at her team, her expression a mix of relief and determination. "This is just the beginning," she said. "The war is far from over, but today we struck a blow for humanity." As the shuttle set course for their next destination, Mercer looked out at the stars. They were not just points of light. They were beacons of hope. The Hourglass Battalion had achieved the impossible, but the journey ahead was filled with uncertainty and danger. Mercer knew one thing for certain: they were ready to face whatever came their way, for they were humanity's echo in the void. The shuttle hurtled away from the moon, its hull rattling from the near miss of Krylaxian fire. Inside, the Hourglass Battalion, though victorious, bore the weariness and wounds of battle. Commander Zara Knox reviewed the mission data, her expression unreadable. The destruction of the Krylaxian energy facility was a significant blow, but Knox knew this was only the beginning of a larger campaign. Lieutenant James Hawkeye Mercer, nursing a minor wound on his arm, watched Knox. He admired her leadership, unflinching, strategic, and always thinking several moves ahead. This mission had proven that even the mightiest Krylaxian strongholds were not invincible. As they journeyed back to their base, the Kronos, Mercer reflected on the mission. They had encountered something unexpected. Encrypted data retrieved from the facility's control center. It hinted at a deeper layer of the war, secrets that the Krylaxians were desperate to protect. Back on the Kronos, the team was debriefed. The data they retrieved was being analyzed by United Earth's top cryptographers. Meanwhile, Knox convened her team for a new briefing. The atmosphere in the war room was intense, the recent victory overshadowed by the urgency of their next assignment. "The Krylaxians are regrouping faster than we anticipated," Knox began, her eyes scanning her team. "Our next target is a research facility on the planet Zephyr. Intelligence suggests they're developing a new weapon, one that could shift the balance of the war." The team listened intently, absorbing every detail. Mercer felt the familiar stirrings of adrenaline. Another mission, another opportunity to strike a decisive blow against the Krylaxians. As they prepared for the mission, Mercer found himself paired with Sergeant Luna Vasquez, a seasoned combat engineer. Her reputation as a master of explosives and technology preceded her. Together, they reviewed the blueprints of the research facility, plotting their approach and identifying key points for sabotage. The journey to Zephyr was tense. The planet, shrouded in thick clouds, presented a new set of challenges. Its atmosphere was turbulent, making their approach in the stealth shuttle even more perilous. As they descended through the clouds, the landscape of Zephyr came into view. A vast expanse of rocky terrain, punctuated by the stark architecture of the Krylaxian facility. The shuttle landed at a safe distance, camouflaged by the natural rock formations. The team advanced towards the facility, under the cover of darkness. Mercer and Vasquez led a subgroup, their objective to disable the facility's power grid. As they neared their target, they encountered Krylaxian patrols. The firefights were brief but intense, Mercer's sniper skills proving invaluable. Reaching the power grid, Vasquez set to work, her hands moving with practiced ease. Mercer kept watch, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of the enemy. Time was of the essence. They needed to complete their objective before the Krylaxians realized what was happening. Suddenly Mercer spotted movement. A squad of Krylaxian soldiers was heading straight towards them. He alerted Vasquez, and a fierce firefight erupted. The sound of gunfire and energy blasts filled the air, the night illuminated by the lethal dance of projectiles. Mercer fought with precision, each shot taking down an enemy. Vasquez, meanwhile, had finished her work. The power grid was set to blow, which would plunge the facility into darkness and chaos. They retreated, racing back to the rendezvous point. The explosion rocked the night and the facility's lights flickered and died. The team regrouped, moving swiftly to their next objective, the heart of the research facility. Inside, they encountered resistance fiercer than anything they had faced before. The Krylaxians were desperate to protect whatever secrets lay within these walls. The battalion fought with relentless determination, pushing deeper into the facility. As they breached the main research lab, they found what the Krylaxians were trying to hide, a prototype weapon, unlike anything Mercer had seen before. It seemed to warp the very fabric of space around it. The implications were clear. If the Krylaxians could mass-produce this weapon, the war would be lost. Knox ordered the weapon to be destroyed, but as Mercer placed the charges, an alarm sounded. They were trapped. Krylaxian reinforcements swarmed the facility, their numbers overwhelming. The team fought valiantly, but it was clear they were outmatched. Just as the situation seemed dire, Knox made a call. "We need extraction now," she yelled into her comms. Mercer, fighting back-to-back with Vasquez, wondered if rescue would come in time. The sound of a shuttle's engines roared above the din of battle. The Kronos had dispatched an extraction team. A fierce aerial battle ensued as the shuttle descended, providing cover fire. Mercer and the team fought their way to the extraction point, the shuttle's ramp lowering amidst a hail of enemy fire. They boarded just as the charges detonated, obliterating the prototype weapon and dealing a critical blow to the Krylaxian war effort. As the shuttle ascended, leaving the chaos of Zephyr behind, Mercer looked at his comrades. They were battered but unbroken, their resolve as strong as ever. Knox's voice cut through the exhaustion. "This war is far from over, but today we've given humanity a fighting chance." As the Kronos appeared on the horizon, a beacon of safety in the void of space, Mercer knew that the Hourglass Battalion would be ready for whatever came next. They were humanity's vanguard, the echo in the void that refused to be silenced. Lieutenant James Hawkeye Mercer, along with the rest of the battalion, worked frantically to keep the ship operational. Commander Zara Knox stood at the helm, her voice cutting through the cacophony with clear, decisive commands. Mercer, despite his primary role as a sniper, found himself aiding Sergeant Luna Vasquez in rerouting power to essential systems. The ship had sustained significant damage, and every second counted in their fight for survival. As Mercer worked, his mind raced. The Krylaxians had never been this bold, attacking a United Earth military vessel deep in human-controlled space. This ambush was no random encounter. It was a clear message. The Krylaxians were changing their tactics, becoming more aggressive. The destruction of their research facility on Zephyr had hit them harder than anticipated. The Kronos, though a formidable warship, was not equipped for such a relentless assault. Its shields flickered, struggling to absorb the onslaught of energy fire. Mercer could feel the ship shudder with each impact, a grim reminder of their precarious situation. Knox remained a pillar of calm amidst the storm. "Focus on restoring the shields," she ordered. "We need to hold them off until reinforcements arrive." Her confidence was a lifeline in the midst of despair, her presence a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Mercer and Vasquez managed to reroute power to the shield generators, their efforts rewarded as the shields powered back to life, offering a brief respite. But the Krylaxians were relentless, their ships manoeuvring for another strike. In the midst of the chaos, a transmission came through, a garbled message of hope. United Earth reinforcements were en route, but the Kronos needed to hold on a little longer. Knox relayed this to the crew, her voice steady. "Hold the line," she urged. "We're not done yet." The crew rallied, bolstered by the promise of support. They worked with renewed vigour, patching up damaged systems, firing back at the Krylaxian ships with every available weapon. Mercer took his place at one of the turret stations, his sharpshooter skills adapting to the ship's weaponry. Each blast he fired was precise, taking down Krylaxian fighters with deadly accuracy. The Kronos, wounded but defiant, became a beacon of resistance, holding its ground against the enemy. The battle raged on, a testament to the resilience and tenacity of the Hourglass Battalion. As the first signs of the United Earth Fleet appeared on the horizon, a collective sigh of relief swept through the Kronos. Reinforcements had arrived, tipping the scales in their favour. The Krylaxian ships, realising their disadvantage, began to retreat. The Kronos, battered but unbroken, emerged victorious. As the crew worked to repair the remaining damage, Knox addressed her team. "We've been tested today," she said, her gaze sweeping over her soldiers. "The Krylaxians are adapting, but so are we. This war is far from over, but today we've proven that we can stand against any odds. We are the vanguard of humanity, the echo in the void that refuses to fade." Mercer felt a surge of pride. They had faced near-certain destruction and emerged stronger. The bond between the members of the Hourglass Battalion was more than just camaraderie. It was a shared commitment to their cause, to each other, and to humanity. As the Kronos set a course back to their base, Mercer looked out into the vastness of space. The stars, once distant and cold, now seemed to shimmer with a newfound resolve. The war against the Krylaxians was escalating, and the Hourglass Battalion would be at the forefront, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the days that followed, the battalion recuperated and prepared for their next mission. Knox, ever the strategist, was already planning their next move. The Krylaxians had shown their hand, and now it was time for humanity to respond. Mercer, reflecting on the recent events, knew that the path ahead was fraught with danger, but he also knew that within the Hourglass Battalion, within the heart of every soldier, lay the unyielding spirit of humanity, a force that no enemy, no matter how powerful, could extinguish. As the Kronos journeyed through the stars, the Hourglass Battalion stood ready, a testament to humanity's resilience, a beacon of hope in the echoing void of the universe. The war was far from over, but they were prepared to face it together, as the vanguard of humanity's indomitable will. The Hourglass Battalion, under the cover of night, moved silently through the dense jungle of Vortex 9, a remote planet deep in uncharted space. Bioluminescent flora cast an eerie glow on their path, the only light in the oppressive darkness. Commander Zara Knox led the team, her senses attuned to every rustle and whisper of the alien world. Lieutenant James Hawkeye Mercer, his sniper rifle at the ready, followed closely. The mission was a covert operation to gather intelligence on a suspected Krylaxian outpost. After their narrow escape from the ambush and subsequent victories, Knox had received intel about this outpost, potentially a key to understanding the enemy's recent aggressive tactics. The team navigated the treacherous terrain, their movements a silent dance amidst the shadows. The planet's atmosphere was thick, the air heavy with the scent of unfamiliar vegetation. Mercer felt a mix of exhilaration and apprehension. Every step took them deeper into the unknown. Suddenly Knox raised her hand, signalling a halt. The team froze, their senses heightened. Mercer scanned the area through his rifle's scope, his heart pounding in his chest. There, hidden among the foliage, were Krylaxian soldiers, their sleek armour barely visible in the dim light. Knox whispered orders, her voice barely audible. "We need to get closer. Mercer, Vasquez, flank right. The rest with me." The team split, moving with practiced stealth. Mercer and Sergeant Luna Vasquez diverged from the main group, circling around to get a better vantage point. As they positioned themselves, Mercer's gaze fell on the Krylaxian outpost. It was unlike any structure he had seen before, its architecture a blend of organic and metallic elements. This was no ordinary outpost, it was a research facility, possibly the source of the Krylaxians' recent advancements. Mercer relayed this information to Knox, who nodded in understanding. "We need to get inside, find out what they're working on." The mission had just escalated from reconnaissance to infiltration. The team regrouped, formulating a quick plan to breach the facility. Knox led the charge, her combat skills evident as she took down the guards with swift, precise movements. Mercer provided cover, his shots echoing softly in the night. They entered the facility, the interior as alien as the exterior. The walls pulsed with a strange energy, and the air hummed with the power of unseen technology. The team moved cautiously, aware that the slightest mistake could alert the entire outpost. As they delved deeper, they came across a chamber filled with advanced machinery and holographic displays. The data was in Krylaxian script, incomprehensible, but the images were clear enough. Plans for a weapon capable of destroying entire planets. Knox's eyes narrowed as she absorbed the information. "This changes everything," she murmured. "We need to get this data back to command." The team prepared to extract the information, but their presence had not gone unnoticed. Alarms blared, and the facility was soon swarming with Krylaxian soldiers. A fierce battle ensued, the Hourglass Battalion fighting against overwhelming odds. Mercer, taking a defensive position, picked off the enemy soldiers one by one. Vasquez worked feverishly to download the data, her fingers flying over the alien console. The tension was palpable, each second stretching into eternity as they fought to complete their mission. Finally, Vasquez signaled success, the data secured. Knox gave the order to retreat, but their escape was cut off by a wave of Krylaxian reinforcements. The team was trapped, their backs against the wall. In that moment of desperation, Knox's voice cut through the chaos. "We fight," she declared, her eyes blazing with determination. "For humanity, for our future. We fight." The team rallied, their resolve hardened. They fought with a ferocity born of necessity, each member a whirlwind of destruction. Mercer, his sniper rifle now impractical, switched to his sidearm, joining the fray. The battle raged, a desperate struggle for survival. Just when it seemed they would be overwhelmed, a stroke of fortune turned the tide. A series of explosions rocked the facility, the result of charges set by Vasquez earlier as a contingency. Seizing the opportunity, the team fought their way out of the facility, the structure crumbling around them. They emerged into the night, the jungle a welcome sight after the oppressive confines of the outpost. As they made their way back to their extraction point, Knox looked at her team, a mix of pride and relief in her eyes. "We've done more than survive today," she said. "We've struck a decisive blow." The data they had secured was invaluable, a key to understanding and countering the Krylaxian threat. The mission on Vortex 9 was a testament to the courage and resilience of the Hourglass Battalion, a symbol of humanity's unyielding spirit in the face of adversity. As they boarded their shuttle, the stars above shining brightly in the alien sky, Mercer felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were the vanguard of humanity, the echo in the void that refused to be silenced. The war was far from over, but with each victory they were one step closer to peace. The Hourglass Battalion, through their bravery and sacrifice, had once again proven that humanity would not go gently into the night. On the bridge of the UES Kronos, the mood was one of celebration, a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere that had pervaded the ship only days before. The Hourglass Battalion, along with Commander Zara Knox, stood amidst their fellow crew, basking in the success of their most recent mission. The central holographic display showed the Krylaxian outpost on Vortex 9, now a smouldering ruin, its potential threat to humanity averted. Laughter and cheers filled the air, a release of the pent-up tension and fear that had accompanied their perilous mission. Crew members clapped each other on the back, their faces alight with smiles and the relief of victory. It was a moment of triumph, not just for the Hourglass Battalion, but for all of humanity. Lieutenant James "Hawkeye" Mercer and Commander Knox stood at the forefront of the celebration, sharing a moment of mutual respect and accomplishment. Their eyes met, an unspoken understanding passing between them. They had led their team through the impossible, and their success would be a turning point in the war against the Krylaxians. Knox addressed the crew, her voice carrying over the din of celebration. "Today we celebrate not just a victory, but the indomitable spirit of humanity. We've faced the darkness and emerged stronger, more united. Let this be a message to the Krylaxians and to the universe. Humanity will not yield, will not falter. We are the echo in the void, unbreakable and resolute." The crew erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the ship. Mercer felt a surge of pride. They had achieved something remarkable, something that would be remembered in the annals of human history. The data they had secured from the Krylaxian outpost had revealed weaknesses in the enemy's strategy, giving humanity a much-needed advantage. As the celebrations continued, Mercer's thoughts drifted to the future. The war was far from over, but they had struck a significant blow against the Krylaxians. The Hourglass Battalion would be at the forefront of the battles to come, a beacon of hope and a symbol of humanity's resilience. In the days that followed, the Kronos returned to United Earth space, the crew welcomed as heroes. The intelligence gathered from Vortex 9 had given United Earth Command new strategies and tactics to employ against the Krylaxians. The tide of the war was turning, and the Hourglass Battalion had played a crucial role in that shift. Mercer, standing on the deck of the Kronos as it orbited Earth, looked down at the blue and green planet below. He thought of the people living their lives, unaware of the sacrifices made in the depths of space to ensure their safety. He felt a deep connection to Earth, a renewed sense of purpose. Commander Knox joined him, her gaze also fixed on the planet. "We've done well, Mercer, but the journey ahead is long. The battalion will be called upon again, and when that time comes, we'll be ready." Mercer nodded, a determined glint in his eyes. "We'll be ready," he echoed. They were more than just soldiers. They were the guardians of humanity's future, the echo in the void that would never be silenced. As the Kronos prepared for its next mission, the Hourglass Battalion stood ready, united in their resolve. They were the embodiment of humanity's courage and determination, a reminder that in the vast and often unforgiving universe, humanity's spirit would always endure. The story of the Hourglass Battalion and their adventures in the void of space would be told for generations to come, a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. They were the echoes of the void, and their legacy would resonate through the annals of time, an eternal reminder of humanity's unyielding will to survive and thrive amongst the stars.